Welcome to this explainer. Okay, so right now, across basically every industry, we are seeing this massive challenge. And honestly, it affects countless organizations. Here's the thing. Businesses everywhere have absolutely no shortage of AI ideas. I mean, the brainstorming sessions are packed, the whiteboard markers are literally running dry, and you can practically feel the conceptual excitement in the air. But what they so often lack is actual execution. There's this huge, glaring disconnect between coming up with those brilliant ideas in an innovation lab and actually putting them into motion to create tangible business momentum. And that exact disconnect is what we're going to break down today.
So why do so many AI initiatives get stuck? We see countless organizations that are incredibly pumped about artificial intelligence. The hype right now is absolutely deafening. But why do so many of these initiatives just never move past the planning stage? Like, why do they get completely stuck before they create even a single drop of actual business value? Well, it's a super frustrating reality for a lot of hardworking teams. But understanding the root cause of this paralysis, that is the essential first step to finally breaking out of it.
What we're actually dealing with here is something called the execution gap. Basically, this is the perilous, tricky space right between your intention, meaning all those grand AI ideas, those pilot proposals and complex strategies your team just dreamed up, and your action, which is the actual implementation and real-world value creation. This gap, this is exactly where incredible opportunities simply vanish into thin air. Businesses get trapped here. They have the right intention, they genuinely want that transformation, but they just can't seem to bridge the gap to actual deployment.
To really get why this gap exists, we kind of have to look at human nature and business psychology. Planning feels safe, implementation introduces uncertainty. Actually, it's as simple and as painfully difficult as that. Businesses can, and totally will, spend months discussing endless possibilities. They'll evaluate every single vendor on the market, build massive, complex strategies, and map out these perfect multi-year roadmaps. Why? Because planning is a safe zone. When you're just planning on a whiteboard, well, nothing's broken yet. But the second you move to implementation, boom, you introduce uncertainty. You risk breaking a workflow or just getting something wrong. And that sudden spike in uncertainty is exactly where many organizations just pump the brakes and lose their nerve.
And this all builds into a major paradigm shift. The common myth out there is that AI is a technology problem. People naturally assume, oh, we just haven't found the right software yet, or maybe their data isn't perfectly clean, or the underlying tech is just way too complex for their team. But the reality? The reality is that AI is an execution problem. It's a fundamental business challenge. The technology itself is rarely the biggest obstacle standing in your way. The real friction holding your organization back is almost always about how the business actually decides to execute.
Moving right into Section 1, Why AI Projects Stall, and the execution barrier itself.
Usually, an exciting AI idea dies a slow death by 1,000 cuts. It almost always starts with unclear priorities. You know the drill. If everything is a priority, nothing is, and the team completely loses focus. Then comes a lack of ownership, which turns what could be a massively transformative AI project into just everyone's neglected side hustle. Add in that fear of making mistakes we just talked about, drain the team's limited bandwidth with half a dozen other competing projects, and throw in limited operational readiness, where the staff honestly just isn't trained to adopt new tools. When all these compounding factors hit at once, suddenly, momentum just disappears. The project fades away into the background without so much as a fight.
Which brings us to Section 2, the pivot, and the crucial role of leadership.
This pivot rests entirely on leadership. If you're leading a team, you are the one who has to create clarity out of the chaos. You have to establish strict accountability so the project has an actual, dedicated owner, someone who literally wakes up thinking about its success. And you absolutely must enforce focus to cut through the noise of all those competing projects. Without that unwavering, rock-solid support and direction from the top down, a strategy is really just a theory. Leadership is what actually forces a theoretical concept into concrete, sometimes messy, but absolutely necessary action.
Let's dive into Section 3, Action over Perfection, and look at some winning strategies.
So, successful businesses do this totally differently. They don't try to solve the whole puzzle at once. Instead, they identify a clear, single opportunity, and they start small. They deliberately prioritize learning through real-world execution rather than trying to predict every possible outcome on a whiteboard. And by doing this, they build critical momentum through actual progress. Small wins are incredibly powerful, you guys. Getting just one simple automation to work creates immense confidence within your team.
And even more importantly, it provides highly valuable insights that you can only ever get from getting your hands dirty and executing.
If you're sitting there wondering how to actually begin, treat these 3 questions like a mandatory checklist for your very next strategy meeting. Okay? Number 1, what process creates the most friction right now? 2, where exactly are our teams losing valuable time doing repetitive manual work? And 3, which specific workflow could dramatically improve with better automation or intelligence? Once you find the answers to those, focus all your energy on solving that one specific challenge first. This is exactly how you take a massive, totally overwhelming AI transformation and make it highly manageable and fiercely practical.
To avoid the very real dangers of over-planning, you really have to adopt this core philosophy. Yes, planning matters. Strategy is absolutely important, but eventually you need real-world feedback. Action creates learning, and then that learning drives improvement. It's this beautiful, continuous, dynamic loop. Those principles, action, ownership, securing those small wins, and committing to continuous learning, those are what ultimately create unstoppable momentum and real measurable results inside an organization.
I want to leave you with a final provocative thought today. Most businesses do not fail because they lack AI ideas. They fail because they never actually move into execution. So look closely at your own operations today. What is one single friction point you can solve with AI tomorrow? Don't wait for the perfect overarching strategy. Don't let the fear of uncertainty trap you in the planning phase. Find that small win, take ownership, and start building momentum right now. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer on the AI execution gap.